Hello, everyone. Welcome to the JK Show. It's episode 27. Today we have Tia from Talks with Tia on Instagram. Guys, I cannot express how excited I am to finally have this podcast. We've been postponing it for over a month now. Uh, it's not anyone's fault, it's Lebanon's
Life,
fault. We're gonna
life
blame
happens.
Lebanon and life. But here we are. Here you are now. So I think you're gonna feel our excitement throughout the episode, guys. We're gonna get to know Tia before we actually dig into any topic or the actual topic that we're gonna talk about. So Tia, welcome to the show and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Amjad. Ever since I found you, I was like, I need to be on his podcast. I can't wait to be on his podcast. وقتها خلص, it was we decided, and then life happened.
Yeah, yeah,
So a little bit about me. I am 22. I recently graduated with a BA in psychology, and we know each other from Instagram. So I have a blog which is catered towards mental health. It's called Talks with Tia. Currently, I am a psychology and philosophy teacher at a high school, and I'm still doing my teaching diploma. So I'm kind of like a teacher
yeah,
and a
yeah,
student at the same time. So that's cool.
yeah,
And now I'm getting back to my blog. For people who follow me, I was off for a long time,
yeah. We're,
but
we're
now
gonna
it's
talk about this. We're gonna talk
yeah,
about this.
now it's good to be back, starting
Yeah,
with you.
definitely, definitely. And it's good to be back with this podcast.
Absolutely,
It's good value.
can't wait to come back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Tia, just to get some context, why did you get into psychology in the first place?
Starting with when I graduated school, خلاص, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to
Yeah,
be a surgeon. So
yeah,
I went into bio pre-med, but I
yeah,
hated it. For everyone who's watching this and doing bio pre-med, I salute you. It's very tough. I was always interested in understanding, why do we behave the way we behave? Why do we think the way we think? And I was always in tune with my emotions.
yeah,
So I took a course, and my mom, I remember when I was transferring majors, my mom told me, why don't you go into psychology? So I told her, no, in the society, psychology, and what are you talking about? So I took a course, and I fell in love at
yeah,
first lecture.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And do you have any regrets now, or what?
Absolutely not. For one reason,
Yeah,
psychology is not just therapy or whatever people think. Psychology is everything that happens from the moment you wake up till you sleep, and even in your sleep.
yeah,
So the practicality of it, or how much psychology is used during the day and in every area in life, whether it's business, medicine, paramedical industries, or whatever, it's mind-blowing.
yeah. This is amazing, actually, and it gives us a deeper understanding that psychology is not just the word. It's not just like, okay, stress and trauma and this stuff. It's a whole experience. It's a huge subject, actually. Maybe
Yeah,
even your 3 years, I think, at university were not enough.
there weren't enough,
it's
no.
it's a it's an ongoing learning journey. You most probably in 10 years you'll still be learning about it, still discovering stuff, and that's
Because
the
you know
beauty of it.
what? Because we as humans, we evolve.
Yeah,
You as a
exactly,
person, me as a person, we evolve. We're not the same people we were yesterday, and so psychology evolves with us.
exactly, Tia. So I invited you on this podcast to talk about burnouts, and
Yeah.
one of the main reasons is that I've been following you for a while now, and I know you've been off of social media for quite some time. Maybe it was an on and off thing at first.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
what you have said is that you were going through a very tough burnout at first, maybe then some shit happened. But
Yeah.
for our audience, how can we define burnout in simple terms?
Um, First of all, burnout is something that twofold. Either people take it so simply, and
Yeah,
yeah, I'm burning out, or people just don't understand what it is. And people, there's a misconception that, oh, it's stress. They're
yeah,
two opposites, which we're going to talk about. So burnout is actually the prolonged response to chronic stress. So when
yeah,
you're going through a certain stressors, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your job, whether it's in your own relationship with yourself, and you go through a lot of stress for a prolonged period of time. So for example, chronic stress, it
yeah,
can lead to burnout. So you feel it in a sense of overwhelming is exhaustion. You feel it in a sense of, I need to get this job done, or I need to get this deadline done, but I just can't. It's not that I don't want to, I can't. You
Yeah.
feel it in your body, you feel body aches, you feel loss of motivation, loss of interest. Sometimes you feel anger and frustration. You know,
Yeah.
why can't I get this done? I don't feel like I can get this done. So it's like thinking of it like a candle, you know, and it just keeps burning and burning and burning up until, you know, the thread. I don't know what it,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
called the wick.
Yeah.
And then it's just no longer there because you're exhausted, you're burnt out. And it's not, people think that, oh, I'm exhausted, we mean physically, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
emotionally. You can feel numb. You can feel like loss of connection with who you are and your friends. For example, let's say you and I are best friends and I'm going through burnout. I don't have the energy to answer your calls or to go out and stuff. So it's truly something that is super serious, and it goes with so many people, they don't even notice it.
Yeah.
بيقسوا على حالهم.
Yeah.
But it is, we have to acknowledge it, we have to reflect on it, and okay, I'm going through burnout, and that's fine, because there are ways to deal with it.
Yeah. And I just want to comment on something that you said at first. It is the prolonged response to chronic stress, as you said.
Yes.
Well, I don't even know how I memorized this, but which does this mean that we are already stressed before we actually burn out?
Yeah. So
Okay.
of course it's case by case. هلا أنا
Yeah.
something that I forgot to say
You
that
can
I
you
have
can
to
share
say.
your story if you want to. Maybe to
Of
give
course I will.
a more real
Yeah.
example.
But something that I need to say, I say it in every time I talk about psychology. Just for people who are watching, I'm not a licensed psychologist, so I don't have a degree in clinical psychology. So everything I say is based on my 3 years of bachelor's degree. So I am not giving you any advice, more so. I'm not telling you this is how it should be, because I'm not licensed. So I just needed to point that out. Okay, what happened with me is I'm someone who suffers from anxiety at points. It varies. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's fine. It started ever since back in February, when I was really focusing on the blog. I released the planner with Planner, the Infinite Possibility Planner. Everything was great. But the thing was, we were in Lebanon, we were in lockdown. So I would wake up early, enter my classes, work on the blog, work on the planner, work on other projects, and then study. So it was a continuous 24-hour job. I even got to a point where I had to get a desk inside my room so I can just sleep, wake up, sleep, wake up. Although everything was great, you know, I released a planner, I released my dream product, everything was going well, people were loving it, the blog was doing amazing. But then I decided, and then my laptop burned. Whenever I do whenever I have a conversation,
the laptop
with
was
someone,
the first one to burn out.
Yes, this is what people say, and the laptop was the first one to burn out. My laptop burnt out, so it's very silly for a laptop to burn out, but for us content creators, all of our content is there. Everything we planned is there, so it just disappeared. So I thought that, okay, maybe this is a sign, maybe you should slow down, because I wasn't indulging in self-care at all. And I'm not talking about the self-care that has to do with face masks and doing my nails. No, I'm talking about the actual harsh, tough self-care that is needed. Hala will talk about it. So little by little, I was enjoying my break. You know, I don't know if you remember, but I said, you know what, guys, I'm going to take March off. Just recharge, reset, and everything. And then I just started feeling like I don't want to get out of bed. You know, what's the point? What's the point of getting out of bed? I want to go on a walk. What's the point? I need to get this job done. I can't, you know? So I was emotionally drained. Whenever someone would call me and just tell me about their problems, I would tell them, you know what, I'm so sorry, but I don't have the energy to listen. Or I would feel so many negative emotions, and I wouldn't be receptive of them. You know, I just push them to the corner, like, you know what, we'll deal with you later on. My level of performance, I was failing classes, I wasn't attending classes, I failed maybe like 2 exams. So I had a huge decrease in level of performance. And as we said, lack of self-care. I wasn't reflecting, I wasn't tuning into what I was feeling. And I was just unable to meet my own standards and like the standards that maybe people who follow me put, or maybe my parents, or maybe the people surrounding me. So I thought, no, okay, what's happening? And the number one thing that I experienced was anger.
Yeah.
So
Anger towards yourself or towards anyone?
both,
Yeah.
but it was always translated towards people,
Yeah.
because Anna, in my personality, I'm a very impulsive person. So I would just get angry. Like if someone told me hello, not good morning, I would just get so angry at them. Like, why are you saying hello? It's the
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would get so frustrated over the simplest things, and I just wouldn't understand why. So I went to someone who's in the psychology field, and he told me, he was like, it's burnout. I'm like, what's burnout? He's like, you've been undergoing so much stress over the past year, with COVID. Unfortunately, my dad has lost his job for 2 years. So
Yeah.
it's very stressful. And I'm in a very stressful situation, which I am sure it's not just me. I'm very grateful for everything. But this is not an excuse. It's not an excuse to say, oh, I'm grateful, I shouldn't feel this way. No, I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling. Everything I'm feeling is valid and justified. So I felt, when he said that it's burnout, I felt, okay, now I understand it. And I tried, I was like, okay, now I know what it is. I'll know how to deal with it.
Yeah, actually,
I could.
I want to cut you off a bit. I wanted to ask you, at what point did you know it was a burnout? So as long as you have never asked a professional, you never knew it was a burnout?
I didn't.
What would
I
have
just
happened
thought,
if you just never went to
yeah.
anyone? Just
Mm.
stayed there.
Honestly, I don't know, because even after that person told me, the professional told me, it wasn't like, oh, things just went up from there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I feel like this is a misconception that we need to clear out. It's not always sunshine and rainbows when you get your answers.
yeah.
Like if I come and tell you you have a diagnosis of 1, 2, 3, it might just not be all up from
It's
there,
maybe just
because
an
after,
understanding, at least, just knowing
absolutely.
at what point you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I touched on kind of what happened on my blog, but I'll go into detail a bit more here. So this was in March, right?
yeah,
So in March, something happened, like a personal experience, and that made me go into a depressive episode. So not only burnout,
yeah,
but I went into a full-blown depressive episode. And
yeah,
for everyone who's going through this, I feel you. Even as a psychologist, I know in this field, Jean, you can never imagine what it means to be in a depressive episode, or what it feels like, until you're in it. The inability to get out of bed, the inability to do the smallest of tasks. So
yeah,
all together made me just like lose myself, you know? And then, I don't know, with whatever power left in me.
yeah,
And of course, my support system, I got up, I saved myself, and it was a mission for me to solve or heal this burnout. And
yeah,
actually, there are other things that I'm healing, but since this is just focused on burnout.
yeah.
So, yeah.
First of all, I'm really sorry you went through this, but
Not at all.
yeah,
Not at all.
yeah. So
Not at all.
I'm not
Strong
gonna say
people.
you're proud of it. I'm just gonna say that um I don't know, it's a good thing that you went through it and you actually got out, hopefully, of course.
Yes. Listen,
Yeah,
Jean, strong people ask for strength,
yeah,
and strength is only given with adversities and
yeah,
with tough. Can I say shit?
yeah. Say shit, whatever you want. It's not a censored podcast.
Okay, great. So strength is only given to you, or you earn strength by going through shit in life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Tia, if we wanted to like categorize the symptoms of a burnout before it happens, or actually
Yeah.
when it happens, if you can
Hmm.
list maybe the 5 most common, of course, we're not going to generalize here. We're not going to say that every
No,
symptom is the same for everyone, but you can at
no.
least
And it's not
try
about
to find,
notes.
yeah, try to find the most common ones, for example.
The first thing you start to feel is you lack self-care. So let's say you have a certain night routine, you just
Yeah.
stop doing it.
Yeah.
You stop reflecting, you stop doing things for yourself. And burnout usually comes when you're juggling too many tasks. So as I told you, I was releasing the product, I was on the blog, I was working on other projects, I was in university. So it usually comes from juggling too many tasks.
Yeah, at once.
And it at once, exactly. So especially when you're accomplishing a new goal, so let's say a new job or a new relationship, you can feel burnout in a relationship, in a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
It can also appear in parenting, in caretaking, in familial relationships. The second thing is you start to feel emotionally drained. As we talked about, you start to feel that you just can't handle your emotions, or خلاص, I just don't want to deal with them, you know.
Yeah.
I'm too
Like
tired.
when you said about the anger thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The third, I think, or the fourth thing you start to feel is a lack in performance. So a decrease in level of performance. You're missing deadlines. You're late to work.
Yeah.
You can't, you would write an A paper, let's say, and now it's a C paper. Lack of motivation. Your standards are low. Instead of saying, you know what, I want to be the best psychologist in the world, you know, I just want to be a psychologist, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares, you know?
You start lowering your goals. Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes when you have a lot of responsibilities. So unfortunately, with the situation and stuff, we just feel like we have a lot of responsibilities even at our age.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's
Yeah. And Tia, if you were to go back before you had your tipping point of burning out, do you think there was a way to prevent this from happening, or it just had to happen?
No, absolutely. And the way I could have prevented it was just so much self-care, you know. And I said before, and no, it's not the self-care of doing my hair or putting a face mask on. No, it's about truly being mindful and present of who I am, where I am, what I'm doing, what am I grateful for, reflecting, learning how to sit with my negative emotions. لأنه burnout, like the negative effects of burnout, they can spill over in many areas in your life. Like you can have burnout from your work, but it can affect your romantic relationship.
Yeah.
Okay? And I experienced that in my past relationship. So I was so burnt out because of everything. So it spilled over into my romantic relationship, and it spilled over into my friends' relationship and my family relationship. It can spill out into your home, your social life, your work, your goals, your career. In my case, it was all of them.
Yeah.
It spilled over to all of them. And it's so important just to say that stress is not burnout. You know, burnout is all about feeling like you're not enough. You feel empty. You feel devoid of motivation. You know, you feel like there's no hope to get better, or there's no hope for positive change. But in stress, stress is just the excess of everything, right?
It's like you're filling a bottle or a glass of water and just starts pouring out. Yeah, exactly.
It's much better. And even I think in physics, I don't know, there's a concept of stress. But the thing is, when you're stressed, you still believe that you are in control of the situation. I'm stressed because of my job. Okay, maybe I'll take a few days off. I'm stressed because of my product. Okay, maybe I'll take a step back. So you have hope for positive change, but in burnout, you don't. You feel like you've lost control over everything.
Yeah. So about this, how long can it last? Do you know, or like, do you choose? How long can a burnout last? Can it be slept overnight, or just you wake up the next day and go on?
No.
How long does it last?
As far as I know, because there's no last, because so many.
It depends on the intensity as well. Yeah.
Because it depends on the intensity. It depends on what you've gone through, the prolonged stress that we talked about before. But what I can tell you, being someone who's gone through it, is when you know what it is and you start actively putting in effort to engage in healing it, then it works. You know, it only goes up from there, but it takes effort. It's like you're taking something that is broken, let's say a glass that's broken into 1,000 pieces, and you're trying to glue every piece
Yeah,
together. So
yeah,
it takes time, it takes effort, it takes patience, it takes a lot of hope, motivation and creativity. And I think you're gonna understand what I'm talking about, since we're both in this field. When you lose your creativity and your motivation, it's so hard to get it back. It's like a
yeah,
muscle,
yeah,
right? It's like a
exactly. Yeah,
like a muscle that you train. Once it's weakened, it's so hard, and it takes time and effort. And that's why I haven't been on the blog consistently ever since, if you've noticed,
yeah,
because I went from, that lifestyle to burnout, to taking months off and then going back to a good lifestyle. It's very similar
yeah,
work-wise and like pressure-wise, but I doubt I will go into burnout. لأنه I'm knowing how to deal with it. I'm engaging
yeah.
in, I'll talk about what to do.
So now, like, you're still in the phase of gluing the pieces back together, or you
Uh,
think you're done with
yeah,
this?
the past year, it's been every time I glue pieces together, they just break apart again.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
right now, if you would ask me, where are you right now? I'm in the process of taking a step back, looking at them like a bird's eye view. Okay, do I want this piece to
yeah,
be glued
yeah,
back? Not really. Maybe I'll set
yeah,
it aside, or maybe I'll throw it in the bin. So I'm just letting it unfold, because I'm not in my danger zone. I used to always call it danger zone to my
yeah,
family. Whenever something would get triggered, I said, "I'm okay, danger zone." And it's good, it's good to give it a title, to put distance between you and your burnout. Like,
yeah,
hey, I see you, you're here. Please don't come right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And speaking about this, um, you said that now you have may not learned necessarily, but you know that you're highly unlikely to go through another burnout anytime soon. So teach us how.
Yeah. Obviously, it's really built on you personally, and like our differences. But what I'm doing is I'm talking about it. So
Yeah,
I'm saying, okay, I'm exhausted. What is exhausting me? Is it the teaching, or is it the university classes, or is it the routine? Is it putting a pinpoint on it? Like, okay, this is what's bothering me. This is what's exhausting me. And I'm engaging in a lot of self-care, the ugly kind, which is giving myself breaks, um, saying it's okay if you're doing a mistake, it's fine. It's okay if you're wrong. It's okay if you're not on social media for a week. No one really cares. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Um, it's okay if you miss a deadline. You're not going to remember it in 5 years. So I'm just taking it easy on myself, because in the end of the day, if I'm not going to take it easy on myself, life won't. Life's not easy on us. So
definitely.
we're not in control of what happens. So we're in control of how we react to the situation. And then what I'm trying to do is to refine my purpose. Okay,
Yeah,
so again, with motivation, but I think the thing that would help burnout is truly engaging in a lot of self-care, sitting down, reflecting, journaling, finding your purpose, not being afraid to say no. Like,
yeah,
if I was in burnout and you talk to me about the podcast, I would, like, back then I would, even if I didn't want to, or even if I was in burnout, I would tell you, yes, come on, let's do it. But inside, I don't want to.
yeah,
I don't feel like it. So now I'm not afraid to say no. I'm not afraid to say no to deals, to family, to friends. If I don't want to go out, I will say it guilt-free. I'm not feeling well enough to go out. Um, and engaging in self-care of journaling, or just sitting and talking to myself, as crazy as it sounds. Like, okay,
yeah,
how was your day? This bothered me. Okay, do you have control over it? Not really. Drop it.
yeah, yeah,
Never. Just don't talk about it. Don't think about it, because you don't have control over it. What's the point in worrying? Do you have control about it? Yes, this is what I'm going to do. And it gives me a sense of control.
yeah,
As humans, we like control, we love control. So, and of course, putting face masks and doing my nails. No, but
yeah,
seriously, things that just make us happy. Like, for you, it
yeah,
might be a walk or a bike ride, um, just anything that makes you you. Like, for me, I read books, but right now I don't have time to read books. So what do I do instead? I say Saturdays and Sundays are for me to read my book.
yeah,
It's compensating. It's treating yourself like a partner, you know You need time to put in the effort and to make this relationship, because in the end of the day, everyone in your life is going to come and go. You're the only person stuck with yourself for the rest of your life, from the moment you're born to the moment you die. So it's
Yeah.
either you're in a good relationship with yourself, you protect yourself, you take care of yourself. It's like having a baby.
Yeah.
Would you starve your baby to death? Would you starve your baby? Wouldn't you take care of him, etc.? So just treat yourself like a baby or like a
Definitely.
house.
Definitely. Yeah. So Tia, remember about maybe 10 minutes ago, you listed the symptoms of having a burnout. So after you shared this really beautiful and courageous story, what if you would list the three most important things to do, or at least to look at to prevent having a burnout? Again, these are
Mm,
not generalization. These are just from your
absolutely.
experience and maybe the most common things.
Yes. Prioritize.
Yeah.
Definitely prioritize. If you're juggling more than two tasks, prioritize. What is the most important task? What is the least important task? That. Because that way you will see where you spend your most time in. And for me, just time blocking. So schedule your time. Set a weekly view. And like color coded, because let's say work is in blue, let's say social media is in pink, let's say self-care is in red.
Yeah.
Let's say I have a lot of blue and a lot of pink and just a tiny bit of red. That's not prioritizing. And
Yeah.
self-care should be up with work and responsibilities in the priorities. It's just as much as a priority,
Yeah.
because it's like pouring from your own cup. You're not going to drink a empty cup. How are you going
Definitely.
to work and how are you going to be productive if you're burning out? That's one. Two would be definitely to communicate. Don't keep it in. If you have a good support system, communicate it. They might give you a break. They might just remove this weight off your shoulder by maybe taking you to lunch or just being there for you. Sometimes, especially with COVID and especially with the isolation that COVID's done to us, we are now, because we went back to normal life. Yeah, we're going back to uni, we're going back to work. We kind of, you can feel it in people that we've forgotten how to be human. We've forgotten how to accept hugs, how to accept just any social cues, right? So communicate it. You need this, you need affection, you need love, you need protection. And then the third thing would be to step back. You feel it, step back, bird's eye view, look at which pieces of glass are broken, check which ones you want to keep, which ones you don't want to keep. If one of them is really causing you that much distress, remove it. Even though you need it, remove it. Put it aside. Even if it's a job, put it aside. Take a break, take a breather, recharge, engage in self-care, and then come back to it. It's not going to
Yeah.
change. The piece of glass is not going to change. You're going to change. You're going to be more receptive. At least when you hold it, it's not going to touch you if you burn out, because you're going to be wearing your protective gloves, which are done by self-care and communicating and
Yeah.
whatever we spoke about.
Yeah.
I
This is
love
amazing.
metaphor.
Yeah, this is amazing. This is amazing, really. You actually expanded way more on my question than I thought you would. So this is just massive, massive value. And Tia, as a last piece, not advice, maybe just last piece of whatever words you want to say, what would you tell to people who would want to pursue a career or have an interest in a field similar to yours or the exact same field?
Mm. Don't do it because everyone else is doing it. Do it if you truly love it, because it's not an easy job. It's not an easy career. It gets heavy, and don't go into it because it's a trend. I'm seeing a lot of first years who I ask them like, oh, you're into psychology, why? Oh, because everyone's doing it.
Yeah. Or because I
Not
couldn't
really.
find anything else, for example. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Psychology is so important. Asan, if you Google what can a psychologist do, you'll get a list that's 10 pages. We are in industrial psychology, we are in marketing, we are in commercializing, we are in medical industries, we are in aviation, we
you
are
are
in
wherever
testing.
people are, which is basically
Ex-
everywhere.
ex-
Yeah,
Everywhere,
yeah,
exactly. But it is a tough job.
Definitely.
So it gets heavy. يعني I'm what I don't have the license yet, but I do have the blog, and I love it when people come and tell me, like, when they vent, but sometimes it does get heavy. So if I'm kind of tiny and I feel this weight, how about if you actually pursue a career in it?
Yeah.
So I say, do your research first. And I'm not here to burst anyone's
Yeah,
bubble.
yeah.
It's a lovely career, it's a lovely field,
But we have to be
I'm
real. We
realistic.
have to be real
Exactly.
after all.
Exactly.
Yeah. So with that, Tia, I really want to thank you and congratulate you on everything you've been through and whatever you're gonna be going through, because you know life's a journey. It never it's always a roller
Yeah.
coaster. It's not just up and downs, it's sideways,
No.
loops, and whatever. I had some similar experiences to yours, like burning out and such. That's
Yeah.
what that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to on this podcast talk about these things. So with that, I want to thank you again for giving us the time
Thank you so
and
much
for
for
finally
having me.
making this happen. Uh, guys, if you want to connect with Tia, you will find her Instagram in the description. Feel free to follow her, like her posts, even message her if you want. Tia, any last words?
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor, and I can't wait to come back.
Definitely. We'll be waiting and we're excited to
Thank
see what's coming.
Thank you so much.